All right. It looks like we're live. I'm getting a little notification about LinkedIn, but I think we're good. I think we're live. You guys, hey, is anybody out there? Let us know if you hear us. I think we're good. So welcome everyone to our first pep talk of the year 2025. So welcome. The last two, if you guys were on our channel and you watched the last two messages or the last two pep talks we had, they were actually replays from the year before. So we took some time off. We took some time to plan for 2025. And so we restreamed some from the year before. So this is our first introduction to you guys this year. And we just want to say happy New Year to all of you and welcome. If you are new to our channel, we are Productive Environment Podcast with Productive Environment Institute. I'm Andrea Anderson, CEO, and I'm in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, joined today by...
I'm Barbara Hemphill, founder of Productive Environment Institute, and I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, just 2 hours from Andrea.
That's right. And we're excited that you guys are here. So if you're watching us, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, send us a message and we can actually share your comments on the screen. So please feel free to interact with us today. We love the interaction. So today we're going to talk about something that Barbara and I could talk about in our sleep. But it's so critically important, and yet it is so back to basics, right? It's literally back to the basics. When we talk about clutter is postponed decisions, if you've been around us long, you've heard Barbara's quote about clutter is postponed decisions. And so we want to help people systemize and organize with action and reference to help make those decisions and then have a system to implement them. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that image so you guys can see us full screen. And so systemize and organize with action and reference. Let me just say this part first, and then I'm going to ask Barbara some questions. So a long time ago, Barbara, I think it was 2005 when I first took your training it was Paper Tiger Productivity Institute at the time. And I joined my local networking groups. And at that time, I came up with the acronym for SOAR, which was in my mind, because I had to do the 10-minute talk. Those of you guys that go to networking meetings, you know this. You have to do the little 10-minute talk. So I quickly came up with something for my 10-minute talk 20 years ago. And it was systemize, organize, activate, relate. And I made it rhyme. I made those last two words rhyme. So actually it was automate, systemize, organize, automate, relate. And what I mean by relate is so you can relate, so you can build relationships. Well, we've recently changed it because it really comes down when we work with people on helping them overcome those decisions or make those decisions, overcoming the clutter. It comes down to action and reference. And it was like an epiphany. I was like, wait, that's AR. That's part of SOAR. And so we changed it just this year or just a few days ago. So systemize and organize with action and reference. Now, let me say this. We have been teaching action and reference for years. For those of you that know us, you know about our Magic 6. You know about our finding system. If you don't, then you guys are going to want to stick around to find out about so if you can find out how to find out about all these things so you can declutter and get organized. But those of you that have been around a while, you know about action, you know about reference. You may even have your own system set up if you've worked with us before, or if you're one of our specialists. So it's been a part of our system for as long as I've been a part of the system. So when I came to Barbara in 2005, action and reference were they were number 5 and number 6 of the Magic 6, and they're critical parts of our finding system. Barbara, I don't even know if I ever asked you where they came from. So I'm asking you now. Tell us.
Well, it started very, very early in my career when I was organizing paper in people's homes. Okay. And so people would have piles of paper. Because my clients through the years, just like our clients, are people who are very active in life. They take lots of courses. Often they've been serial entrepreneurs. They've been professionals. They're active in their community. They volunteer. They get tons of information. You think about it. If you live in a house and you belong to a homeowners association, the amount of paper, and that's a great example, the amount of paper, now it's digital, but the principles are the same, okay? The amount of paper, I would go in and I would see a pile this high from the homeowners association. They've lived there for 12 years and here's all the stuff and I'm afraid to throw it away because there might be something I need. And, you know, one of the things that people are so afraid that they're going to throw something away. And my philosophy is, if in doubt, keep it. Because I never wanted my clients to feel afraid. So it's like, okay, you can keep it. But Hemphill's principle is, if you don't know you have it or you can't find it, then there's no point in keeping it. So yes, you can keep it. And then the other thing we use is the cost factor, is you can keep everything you want if you're willing to pay the price. So it's like, okay, how much file cabinet space or how much garage space or whatever do you have? So let's take the example of the homeowners association. You get that every month. Every month they sent a new thing probably about what the schedule is. Well, people would have it all in one pile. And I think, wait a minute, this isn't all the same importance. There's some of this stuff that 99 chances out of 100, they're never going to need it. That's reference. But the schedule for what's going on this month or the agenda for the next board meeting is action. And so then I began to realize that that was true with everything. That there's the stuff you keep for reference, either because you know you'll have to have it at some point, but not right now. I mean, you know that you're going to have it, so you don't want to throw it away, but you don't need access to it until that something will happen to say you need that, and then you can go back and get that reference. And to be honest, a lot of reference is the stuff that I'm afraid to throw it away because I might need it again, or I might forget something, or I might hurt somebody's feelings, or I might be irresponsible, or whatever. That's what most of that is. But action, to use the quote my daddy used all the time on the farm, was where the rubber meets the road. Action is, this is what I need to do and keep track of. So with the homeowners example, it's like, what is the agenda for the upcoming board meeting that I'm going to in 2 weeks, for example. So that's where action reference comes from. And it applies. It even applies in photographs, if you think about it, because you can have photographs that you've collected for decades, and in some cases, many decades, because we run into people all the time that have not only all their photographs, but all the photographs from generations previously. But the ones they have are the ones that they need to put in the newest stuff to put into their website, for example. Well, those are action, because those photographs are ones you need to sort and decide which ones do you want to upload to your social media account or to your. So action reference applies across the board.
It really does. It really does. So one thing I want to share, it's like I said, it's so simple yet so critical. This is a quote. This is something I told Barbara a long time ago. Like, Clutter has postponed decisions. I forgot Ed had put this in as one of the banners, and I had said, it's not enough to make a decision. It's you need a system to implement it. And for years, we had a system for the physical. We had a great system. We still do. We still have a great system for your physical, your paper. And I just have to say this, is, to my knowledge, we are the only system that actually, we're the only people that teach a system that actually handles your physical information and your digital information. That we literally, for those of you that are not familiar with us and what we do yet, we can put a search box. You know how easy it is to go to Google and search for something and it pulls up something for you that you're looking for out of a gazillion things out in cyberspace. It brings you exactly what you're looking for, right? Well, we can put that same search box on your physical filing cabinet, basically. I mean, in a nutshell. So how easy it is to find something online, but you're trying to dig through a pile of paper or a filing cabinet full of paper to find something, and you're spending all this time looking for it. Our systems help you put that search box on your physical filing cabinet and find anything that you filed in seconds. We've been doing that Barbara's been doing it for over 4 decades. I've been doing it for 2 decades now. Catching up. So anyway, but then as the digital world comes in, that's been happening, and we've been keeping our digital separately. we really have, because, everybody thinks that their email is one thing. Their email is in a silo by itself. It's like, I need help with my email. Well, the emails represent tasks. They represent projects. They represent
action and reference.
They represent actions and reference.
Everything in your email, every single email is that. Now, where it gets really complicated, and one of my frustrations with email, I've taught seminars called Taming the Email Tiger. And one of the things I taught in there is that when you send an email, only put one subject per email, because when you mix them up, then it's really hard to organize them, because one might be an action and one might be a reference, or one might be an action for today and one might be an action for a week from today, and one might be an action. And so it's like, okay, that's my tip for today about your email. When you're sending an email, only put one subject per email. But every email is either an action or a reference. So when you get that email, it's like, oh, I need to reply, or I need to make a phone call, or I need to fill out a form, or I need to, today I got one from someone saying, I've drafted a blog for my website. Will you look at it and edit it? So it's like, okay, and it needs to be done by the end of business today. So I need to do that. But reference could be, okay, and so here's the funny part, in companies, I've seen this all the time, is people get emails from people, they don't really want to read it because there's not usually, but it's the position they have in the company. So they're afraid to throw it away, but they keep it. But if they don't have a system, and so we can help them create a system so that they can file that without even looking at it. I mean, literally, because it comes from that person, it can go straight into that file. And then if they do have a meeting with that person and they need to suddenly want to look at what were the last 6 things that person sent, they can literally look it up.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen. I mean, that's a real world example of what happens sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And you do the same thing with index cards. So you manage your email one subject at a time. And you said the same thing about index cards, one item, one thought, one task at a time on there. I knew you'd have them right there.
Yeah. And people say, and I always say, oh, you're wasting so much paper. Well, first of all, just trivia here. One index card is less expensive than a Post-it note.
That's right. I love that little fun fact.
And the other thing is that then you can sort it. So if you have multiple things on the same index card, then it's hard to sort it, because does it go in today or next week, or is it action or is it reference? But if you have them separately, you can shuffle them, and it makes all the difference in the world.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Carrie. Carrie Thomas Consulting is one of our certified productive environment specialists. She said, love it. For those of you listening and not watching, love it. I think people will really remember this new acronym. Yes. So I had to put the little ands in there. So systemize and organize with action and reference. And I just love it. So let me give you guys something. I'm going to share some things with you, but I want to give you one. It all kinds of starts with this thing right here, the file act toss system, that there are only 3 decisions, I say initial. There are 3 initial decisions that you need to make about any information that comes into your space. And
let me just say, you can do that when you take a pile of papers. I just came back from a trip, and you come back from a trip, you've got papers that from the car rental company, they handed you something, and my daughter handed me stuff and whatever. And so it went over here in my inbox. And then when I do it, the initial sort is there's only 3 things: file, act, or toss. And you can do that very quickly. And a lot of people sort their mail, for example, in the garage by the trash can. So don't even let it come in. You can do file, act, and toss before you come in the house to bring it in.
That's right. And you just reminded me, Barbara, I have a picture I'm supposed to share with you. One of our clients, Jen, sent a picture and said, please make sure Barbara sees this. And I didn't send it to you yet, but she took after one of our coaching calls last week, she took a picture of herself standing by the garbage can processing her mail before she even went in the house.
Absolutely.
So, yay to you, Jen. Yay to you, Jen.
Yes, absolutely.
So you actually just said something. For those of you that haven't set up any system yet, and you're wondering, how do I even get started? This is something you can start with: file, act, or toss. So with your existing things around you, not past old stuff, existing things on and near your desk, just pull them all together and then say, do I need to file this for future reference? Do I need to act on this? or can I toss it? And if you can toss it, get it on out of there. But once you've gotten kind of that stuff cleared out, well, you don't even have to wait until that's cleared out. One of the first things you want to do is set up an inbox to collect information. You have an inbox in your email, and you want to have a physical inbox in your space. And that's where I want to talk about Systemize. I'm going to talk about each of the letters in SOAR briefly. So we're going to come back to Systemize and Organize with action and reference. What does that mean? Systemize the capture of information. Okay. Now this is personal to me. This gets real close to home for me because, and I'm not the only one. I get information and tasks and requests and projects from email. I want you guys to think about this. Where do you get them? Where do things come in for you to do? For me, it's email. It's Telegram, which is a messaging app. It might be Facebook Messenger. But for business, it's Telegram. We have our Productive Environment Network. I have clients in there saying, hey, can you, or I need help with. So those are tasks. It could be Barbara on a phone call or on a Zoom saying, hey, so it could be personal, face-to-face talking. It could be mail coming in, physical mail coming in going, you need to sign this, you need to send this, you need to pay this, right? It could be an idea. Do you have, and I'm going to guess you don't because I didn't, even though as systemized as we are, I did not have a complete one place to capture information coming from all directions. I used my phone for some things. I have my notebook. I would jot down other things. I would, different tools, different things, planner pad. How many of you make lists of lists and lists of lists and lists, and they just stay on the paper or even, in a Google Doc or somewhere? So that all needed to be systemized. So systemizing the capture of information. So that is number one. Then you organize the information you capture. And what does that mean? That could be really big, but literally it comes down to action and reference. It goes back to that file, act, toss system. Do I need to file this for future reference? Is it something that I need to act on? So that's the act, or can I just toss it? So when I collect the things coming in, wherever that is, I've got a physical inbox and now I have a digital inbox, and everything comes there in one of those two places. So then I look at the information and I say, basically action or reference. If I can toss it, I'm going to toss it first. But, Barbara, I think when you came up with the file act toss system, it was like trim the fat from your desk.
Right.
That worked. Otherwise, it would be toss first, right? Toss act or file, or toss file act, whatever. But anyway, so then the next one. So once you've done that and you said, okay, I've got this action pile. This is a pile of things I need to do. That's our action. So we need an action system to stay on top of projects and tasks, okay, AKA to-do items. And we don't have time to teach it on here, but in our boot camp coming up, we teach a system called, it's our action system. And there are 3 types of actions. It's not just enough to say, oh, here's my big action pile. There are 3 different types of actions in that pile. And so that's another layer. And it sometimes feels complicated to start with, but once you learn it and set up, it becomes very simple to follow. And then the other one is reference, right? What is reference? It's file. Find anything you file in seconds, including paper. So that literally is what SOAR is. Now, like I said, we've had multiple tools. We've taught multiple different tools through the years. And we have recently come up with something that we have named the SOAR board, SOAR, the SOAR board. And it is created by us. It's powered the back end. We are not developers. Okay. We are not app or whatever developers. It's powered by a tool called Workflowy that we've used for 12 years. It's a strategic productivity tool designed to help you capture, organize, and act on both physical and digital information, and keep the other information for reference. So that is what the SOAR board is. We had to pull everything together into one place so that in fact, here, let me just do this next part. With the SOAR board, you have a clear, adaptable system that helps you manage every aspect of your life, ensuring that nothing falls through the cracks and you can find anything you file or store in seconds.
I want to highlight one word there that's really, really important, and that is adaptable.
Yes.
Because the majority, I would say, of our clients either have been diagnosed with ADHD, think they have HD, and we all live in an ADD world. I mean, and when the way you described information coming at us all the time, text messages and Messenger and all that kind of stuff. So, we live in it. But we're all different. God didn't, I mean, the reason that I just celebrated my 78th birthday. And I could not be more excited about what we were doing because it's never been more important. We are so bombarded with information and people are so stressed out. I talked to a woman today who literally her eyebrows are falling out because of her stress. And that's not an uncommon thing at this point. But it also, there's no one system that's going to work with it for everybody. And we've often said that organizing and productivity is an art form. But there has to be structure. There has to be, and there is a system, but it's adaptable. So that one of the people I work with said the thing that made what we did together so valuable was I didn't tell her what she should do. I was asking her what she was willing to do.
That's right. That is the key. And some of you may be thinking, oh, well, I have a system for my tasks. I have this other. That's fine. If you have something and it's working for you, great. And the other challenge, another way that the SOAR board was born was in our digital boot camp that we teach, digital transformation boot camp. We're helping people declutter their email and then their computer files and things like that. And then you add in the paper. We needed it became very difficult because everybody has different systems, different tools. So I was saying, oh, whether you use this tool or that tool for your to-dos, it doesn't matter, but here's the principles. Well, that got very complex. That got very complicated. So I needed a tool that we could use and teach that was across the board. You can still use your other, different tools if you have something that you love, but we needed a tool that we could teach across the board, learn the principles behind it. And then you could say, oh, my tool can do that too. That's fine. That's fine. But we needed something that everybody could learn that was platform agnostic, as they say. Go ahead, Barbara.
That's great. I hadn't heard that term, but I like it. One of the things we often ask is about what is organized. We have something we call the 4 questions for what is organized. And number 1 is, does it work? I mean, is what you're doing. And so we're talking about what's organized so you can accomplish your work and enjoy your life. I mean, that's what this is about. I mean, this is all about, that's what Productive Environment Institute is about. We're about creating an environment in your office, in your home, in your head, where you can accomplish your work and enjoy your life. And so 1 is it working? Number 2 is, do you like it? So sometimes it works, but you don't like it. And one of the things I've noticed as I age is that there were things that were working that I'm no longer willing to put up with. Things that I used to struggle through, but I'm not willing to do that anymore. I have more important things. The third one, which is so significant and is one of the things that drives a large percentage of people to our programs, is, does it work for the other people it impacts? Because when you're an employee in a company, that information does not belong to you. It belongs to the company. And it's your responsibility to organize it in such a way that if something happened to you, they could find it. And certainly in a family, I just talked to a woman yesterday whose husband died unexpectedly last month. I mean, just unexpectedly. They just moved. He was job hunting. And I mean, it was just, everything was, and suddenly he was gone. And now she doesn't have all the information she needs, including the fact that she couldn't find the title of the cars he had, so she could sell them. I mean, she needs the money from the cars, but she can't find the titles to sell them. And then the last question of those 4, does it work? Do you like it? Does it work for the people it impacts? And the last one is, can you recover quickly? Because things happen. I mean, I was traveling for a week, and when you travel a week, you get behind. Your list, my to-do list didn't get done, and there were some new things got put on my list, and I brought some things home with me and all those things. And so it is about adaptability, and that's what the SOAR board has provided in a way that is just breathtaking. And I'm so, when I started this company, my goal was that it would exist when I was gone. And now, because Andrea's created the SOAR board, if I died tomorrow, my legacy is here. So
in the SOAR board. Yeah, it's so funny now how I think when any information comes to me, I immediately think how, first of all, how to get it into the sourboard. I mean, I can type directly, I can ask Siri to put it in there, I can email. There's so many ways to get information in there. But so as you're talking, I'm thinking, Barbara, I got a text from the HOA about the pest control, schedule. I live in a condo, and so we have a pest control schedule. And in the past, I got a text of a screenshot of it, and I would just leave it in there, and then I'd be like, "Oh wait, aren't they supposed to come?" And I could have put it in my calendar, but I just never did because it was a whole list for the year. Well, now I got the screenshot of it is in Soarboard immediately, quickly, and done easily. So anyway, I want to, like I said, there's only so much we can do with you guys on a pep talk, but I want to share a couple of comments here before we wrap up, and then also how you can find out more information about our boot camp. So I was talking about the Phylac TOS system, and Kathy Music is one of our certified productive environment specialists also. And she said, I've used Phylac TOS while waiting at the doctor's office. It's so simple. So she gathered up a stack of papers that had been, I can't imagine Kathy having a stack of papers, but anyway, she gathered up some papers she had collected. It might have been a day or two of mail, who knows? And she put it in her tote bag, and she took it to the doctor's office because she knew she'd be sitting there waiting for a while. And she had a couple of folders. She had a file folder, an act folder, and then a TOS because she probably didn't want to toss the stuff in the doctor's office. So she did. She sat there in the waiting room and did Phylac TOS in a little in her little bag. So these are things that can be simple. Oh, she said it was 2 months of delayed decisions. Oh, okay. So Kathy's human. Oh my gosh. Imagine that. I love it. So then, of course, I want to share, Cannery says, we're also grateful to be sharing the inspiration and blessings with this pep talk. And they're watching from India, which
is just I have to just say Cannery is in the project, the Shepherd's House Ministry project that's been going on with India. And so it's so happy to see them able to join us.
So great. Thank you for the comment. All right, I'm going to put up real quick, or Eds, if you will, put up for us for people to find out about our boot camp. We do have a boot camp coming up very shortly. It's the Office Transformation Boot Camp. And I will say this for those of you that are listening, new or not old, current, that the Soarboard will be taught in both of our boot camps, our Office Transformation and our Digital Transformation Boot Camp. So we've got an Office Transformation Boot Camp coming up where the focus will be on paper, but you will also have the Soarboard. You will get the Soarboard in that boot camp. I'll just show you a very quick picture. It's so simple. When you look at it, you're like, what the heck is that? It is so simple, but is so powerful. It's all built on little bullets, and behind those bullets is the world. So anyway, that's enough for today. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and let me just see if there's any new comments before we go. Let's see. I got to share these. Carrie says fabulous, and Kathy says the Soarboard is very exciting. It really is. It really truly is. So join us. Check out Office Transformation bootcamp.com. But actually, before you get to the boot camp, the webinar. We have a webinar coming up very soon that we're going to be going in a little bit more depth about what we just shared today. So productiveenvironment.com/webinar. Join us. All right. Thanks, everybody. Oh, make sure subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Please subscribe, like this video, share this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.